Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our Silo Season 1, Episode 8 reaction and review.
Listen, there was some rabbit shenanigans going on in this
Yes,
episode, and as you can see, I am a bunny mom. So, all I have to say is, I am so glad that the bunny was able to get away at the end, right? Fifi, Miss Fifi Fontaine, she gonna be part of this video.
Fifi has helped us a lot. We now understand what the world is like through the bunny lens. She informed us going into all of this. See, I'm very impressed, by the way, by the agricultural know-how of these people in this silo to have like this big elaborate field for this bunny to even just run off into in the first
I
place.
know. I was like, wow, is that just how it is? All right, it's a big place.
They garden better than I do. I'm trying to just like grow one flower and I can't get it to do anything. I'm just disappointed. Okay, listen, that's probably the only thing I'm jealous about because I do not want to be in this silo for anything else, especially based on the end of this episode.
Woo! It was that ending with Juliette just jumping over the side. I was like, she's either going to be dead or her legs are going to be broken. Like, nothing good is happening from there.
No, we're gonna get into Juliet's fate and everything else that is going on here. But of course, before we do, if you guys did not know, Silo has been officially renewed for a season 2. It is happening. We are celebrating. If you check out the link in the description below, you can head over to our Patreon where we have a brand new video up all about Silo Season 2. Everything we know about it, we give you all of that information. So check that out. And thank you to everyone who has supported us on Patreon so far.
Thank you so much to our Patreons. We couldn't do this without you.
All right. Is Juliette dead? Let's just get right into this. Has she gone kaput? Is she just like falling into oblivion?
It's really hard to know with this show. I mean, we have Rashida Jones on the poster, and
Yeah.
she went out to clean episode 1, and Holston's on the poster too, and he also went out to clean. I mean, this show has no problem getting rid of people or just straight killing people. We lost the mayor, we lost the deputy, we lost Doug. I mean, we all care about Doug, right? But I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing about this show. Like, could Juliet have really just gone over the side and it's over? Yes, this is that type of show.
I think they're going to have to do a very good job of sort of explaining what happens in the event that she is okay. Because
Yeah,
I feel like, and this may be setting myself up for failure, I feel like she's going to be okay. I don't think
I
they're
think
going to
so.
kill her off at this point because we need somebody to just sort of fight the power that's going on in the silo. And she clearly knows the most. She is a capable action hero. She's somebody who I think is very compelling, and I'm going to be very mad if they get rid of her.
Well, the thing is with this show is that they have passed the torch of knowledge along.
They have.
I mean, we had Allison who then gave it to Holston, who then gave it to Juliet. I mean, Juliet has now gave it to the guy in the cafeteria. So it is continuously getting passed on, which is made it that this show is very sort of puts me on edge whenever something like this happens. But if I had to guess, she's probably jumped over the side and has jumped onto the stairs right below. But that's again where I'm sitting being like, are her legs broken? I mean, this whole silo is just made of concrete and she's landing on stairs. Like, I know she's athletic. Like, don't get me wrong, we all saw her down in machinery, right? But if she doesn't land right, that's just a problem. She doesn't even know what's going on the stairs below her.
See, this is what I pictured in my head, and this may not be physically possible. It's just that, I just beat Horizon Zero Dawn, and yeah, I'm really behind. I understand the game came out years ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Now I've got to play the sequel. But no, but in that game, you can drop down from like one railing to another railing, and I'm just sort of thinking in my head, okay, she jumps over the side. Does she
Yes.
then grab onto the railing that is on the spiral of the silo below? Is it a few below? Because I think this is also another.
Even if it's the one below, like she may break her arms.
Yeah.
That's just sort of like what it looks like as far as the space in between. But I mean, it's a TV show. I'll give it. She can land and barrel roll down the stairs for all I care, as long as she's alive.
Yeah, well, here's the other problem with all of this too, is like, let's say she does like go down and jump on the platform below, or jump on the rail, or climb on the railing, get back over. And the time that it's going to take her to like exert herself physically, Wasn't like Sims, everybody else just gonna be standing there being like, hey, I saw what you did.
Yeah, that's the thing is that they're only like one above. So to be able to just run down the stairs, I mean, Sims is a pretty athletic
Yeah.
guy too. Like that chase, it's not gonna, it's not gonna last that long, I don't think. I mean, Juliet can get away, but there's just not that many places to really hide. Like it's starting to feel like the only place that Juliet can really go is the under the silo that George knew about and Holston knew about.
Here is the hardest thing too, is that I was sort of thinking like, okay, maybe there's like a cushion down below the silo that nobody knows about. But then it's like, okay, if that's the case, that means Doug is also still alive, and everybody else who's probably jumped off this silo over the past century plus.
As long as she does not land on that bunny, I'm all good.
Oh, the bunny.
Oh.
Okay, as I know you are a loving bunny mom, I knew that this episode was gonna be for you pretty much from the start.
I was actually really worried. Like when we got sort of this look into Juliet's past, and her mom's got this bunny that she's trading to get this bunny who's sick. I'm like, I don't know where we're going with this, but I don't know that I can watch this. Like I was worried. But then as it was going on, that it was sort of all about this microscope and how to be able to help and save or deal with, heart disease or, problems that can be fixed, that this magnifier can really help. And I was like, okay, as long as the bunny makes it, I don't care what else happens.
The bunny made it. The bunny has their opportunity to live their best silo life, which is probably better than a lot of people's best silo life.
Absolutely, because that minute that the mom was like, the bunny didn't make it and we ate it, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm out.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding, but I wasn't happy with that.
No, I think that
right? Nobody gonna eat
No.
you, Fifi.
This is just sort of the funny thing about TV and a lot of life in general, is just that we all get so invested in animals and we become so like desensitized to like characters being thrown off the silo.
I know. Listen, there's so many people out there that love John Wick, and it's all like, don't touch that dog. And then we all know what happened with the dog, and everybody's down the hole about the dog. I think it's just, yeah, we've all been really desensitized to people going over the side or people going out to clean or whatever. But I mean, animals are just, they're innocent.
They are. And I'm glad that we at least had like that sort of moment. And there's
you can't fight back.
No, there's
even if Fifi gives me attitude a lot.
I was about to say, I've seen Fifi fight, but I'm glad that we had like just these little moments of innocence, and it was a really good, I think, contrast to everything that's going on in the present, where we're just sort of like, okay, there were some tender moments, and we did see more of like, what Juliet's mom was able to do here and there as sort of like Flamekeeper adjacent, and I appreciated that so much, and it made me that much happier to have that when we're also going through the Bernard getting his like evil monologue moment and the chase scene through the cornfield, which I'm also apparently all in on chase scenes through cornfields. Like, man, was that cool.
It was really cool. It was interesting to see back in the past with Juliet's mom and her dad and sort of the mistrust that was going there, because her dad is, I don't know where he lands on anything, because we know everything that he's been doing with fertility in the silo, but then at the same time, it feels like he is trying to help, like he tried to help with Gloria in the last episode. So when it gets to this point where her mother thinks that the father like ratted her out about the microscope and all that sort of thing, and he's like, I really didn't. But then there was that moment where he like nodded to them, where I was just like, what is it? Like, whose side are you on? Are you on everybody's side? That you can't be on everybody's side. That's not how it works here. But then to later have that moment with him and Juliette where she's like, I know it wasn't you. I know that people are watching us. I've seen it. There's proof. It's happening.
That I thought was so meaningful, and I think it's the first time I felt like I have a somewhat clear picture of who Juliet's dad is, and I say this knowing I can still be wrong.
I'm still not sure about
I
him.
can still drive the clown car around later on, but as I'm driving the clown car, here's how I feel. I think he is someone who has been caught up in a really terrible system, who has been sort of persuaded into buying into things that are not exactly true.
Yeah.
And he's ultimately going to come to this realization even more over time that I have just been this pawn of this larger plan, because I feel like everybody in life, you want to attach yourself to something. You want to believe into something, and I
Yeah.
think he has been told that he is very important, that what he does matters,
Mhm.
and now he's basically just found out I've been lied to this whole time, that there's all these other things going on, that we're being watched every single second of the day. And in that sense, provided there's not some other really dark twist coming, like, I feel for him. That's gotta suck.
I I am still really on the fence with him because in the last episode, like even though this episode Juliet's like, "Oh, we're being watched and listened to, and maintenance is coming here to put cameras in here because this is a dead spot." He knew it was a dead spot in the last episode. He let that slip where he was just like, "Don't worry, nobody's listening to us in here." I'm like, "How do you know that?" Like, and it just went over Juliet's head, and like, no one ever spoke of it again. I was just like, "Wait, what? How do
It's
you know this?"
it's really funny because with certain shows, I feel like I'm pretty discerning with the don't trust this person. Like, when we were doing Succession, I was like, don't tell Greg anything. And yet here, I tell people I want to believe in everybody. Like, do we need to get back into Billings?
And yeah, and still with Juliette too, because when she was telling everything to Bernard, I was like, you need to stop. You need to stop. He's not your friend. Like, we all can sort of see that something is shifty with Bernard. Like, the mayor dies, and now he gets to be the mayor, and he's just protesting and protesting. Like, I didn't even want this job. Yeah, sure, Jan, you didn't want this job. Of course you wanted this job. Nobody trusts you.
See,
I like that the tape got brought up again where she's like, all this over some heat tape.
that's not going away. No, Bernard, I've never liked the cut of your jib, Bernard. You've always been acting a little bit weird. Nobody is ever that reluctant to have power. I do think they handled the reveal in a pretty cool way. Like, I will say that, where it's just sort of like everything dawns on her at this one moment, and we see Bernard and we see Sims, who has the shortest prison sentence of all
I
time. Who's just
know.
like, which also, by the way, okay, when he's first like, okay, can I get some coffee? It's like, okay, you're taking this prisoner's coffee order. Like, that's one thing. And then he's just like asking for more. It's like, don't give this guy anything. He's in prison at this point. You gotta, you can't mistreat him. Don't give him everything he wants.
No, but I think Sims knew by asking for that coffee that it was going to be a situation where that person had to look him in the face.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he wanted. He just really wanted them to look him in the face, give him that coffee so that there's that personal connection as well as the authority connection where, he even at the end had to be like, don't worry, I won't hold this against you.
So we know now that Bernard and Sims are basically two of the real power players in all of this. That,
Yeah.
Bernard has known about a lot of secrets for a very long time. He's very proud of himself, by the way, for all of this. You can tell Bernard's just feeling himself big time.
Absolutely. And he straight up knew about the hard drive.
Yeah.
So, he let it slip. Oops. It was a great villain monologue. And yeah, the chase scene was really cool and her going over the side. Like it also just showed Juliette and I guess us,
Yeah.
how corrupt it really is because she was told that, oh, I heard you say you want to go clean. Did you hear that, Sims? Yeah, I heard that too. Whereas she's walking up the stairs with Billings, he's like, don't worry, you can appeal this. And she's like, to who? Like, Sims is judicial. Like, there's nobody for me to go to with this.
You're just all right, Bill. There needs to be a segment that we just do every week where I try to defend Billings and I try to be like, I'm still in your corner. I still believe in you.
You know what? I believe in Billings, and
Hey!
maybe I'm gonna take an L on that. But I think he's just honestly a good guy that's trying to do right by the society that he's in. I don't think he trusts everything, but I think he really sees things for sort of what they are. I'm in this situation. I live in
Yeah.
this silo. I have a wife. I have a kid. I also have the syndrome. How can I continue to sort of just function in the environment that I'm in? I can't leave here. So, how do I play by the books in a way that still benefits me and benefits my family where we're going to be okay?
I think there is a particular turning point, I would say, for Billings in this episode. And, we had the moment early on where Sims gets arrested by Juliette, and he's just basically like, you're going to come to regret this. When Juliette is hit, like, this was really brutal, by the way, for any show. I mean, I know that the dark show, but, immediately Billings' reaction is just like, that is so unnecessary. You don't need to do that. And,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to overstep in that moment, obviously, because he doesn't want to go out the clean. He's got other people he has to think about. But I think that really put off a light bulb in his head where he's just like, okay, I know whose camp I need to be in at this point. I can't play all sides forever.
Hmm.
Now, like you said, Billings is a smart guy in a bad situation. So I
Yeah.
think he's going to be very careful in sort of figuring out how to help Juliet. He's going to be more nuanced than Juliet punching a mirror. Like, he's going to find a better way to do it that doesn't show his full hand.
Yeah, I mean, he is more nuanced than that, but yeah, I mean, as reckless as it is that she punched that mirror and pulled out that camera,
Yeah.
it was so badass.
It was. It was very satisfying. Like, this is, once again, we can't have Juliet die. She's awesome. She's a great, great character.
She is a great character.
And I get all of her frustration at this point too, where it's just sort of like, all of this evidence is clear in front of everybody. Why does nobody want to believe me? Why does nobody want to take action? And it just speaks to how afraid.
Because you're going to be sent out
Yes.
to clean.
And it's like, this society has just made everybody so afraid, and that is going along with my tinfoil hat thing here.
Oh.
I don't think that, we've even seen necessarily the biggest of the big bads here. It's just like Bernard and Sims, they're clearly a part of it, but there were other people watching the silo with Sims back when we first got that reveal. And so I still think that there is something still out there, that there is somebody who is either more aware of what going out the clean really means, or more aware of like the long-term leadership and sort of the way in which this silo works, just because that's always the most fun thing to me about a show like this. You go through the first season, you get a big bad, but you want there to be an even bigger bad around the corner.
Yeah, and I we're getting nearer to the end of the season. There's barely any of the show left.
Yes.
But I do think that we're gonna get what is going on outside of the silo, or a hint at what's going on outside the silo, because I long have thought that this is just there's a way bigger picture of what is going on. We talked about this in a video over on our Patreon as well, of like,
Yeah.
Allison and Holston, are they really dead, or have they been taken by somebody that's doing this experiment, or like, what is really going on? And I think we're going to get a hint of what is really going on.
I think we could also get a hint of sort of the new flame keepers, if you will, where I think there's going to be a new rebellious faction that starts to surface through all the wreckage of all of this. And I think Juliet's obviously going to be a part of it. I think she will be the leader, provided she's alive. I think Billings is going to end up being a part of it after what's happened.
I think he's going to have to.
Yeah.
Like, he's only able to hide this for so long.
Martha, can Martha end up having a role in this somehow? Juliet's dad, do I really want to believe in you? I'm not there yet, but I'm trying to have faith.
Yeah, he's just a flip-flopper. I think he's kind of in that situation too, where he just wants to do what he can to save his family. Like, I think there's a lot of people that just know that unfortunately they're in this situation where this is where they live. You can't leave here. It's not like you can go somewhere else in the world. You're just in the silo.
The only real criticism I have of this episode is just with the way that this past episode ended. I kind of thought we were going to have basically what we had at the end of this episode at the very start of it, where I was surprised that we didn't just pick up immediately in that space.
Yeah, because there was a moment in this episode where Juliette went back to the sheriff's office and they were tossing it. And I was just like, why would she even be allowed to be back there? Like, I thought she would be straight on the run after what happened where, they went into Gloria's room and she covered the mirror and they know that she knows. I was like, well, she's not the sheriff anymore. She's got to be on the run. So I was kind of surprised by that. And I was also a little bit surprised, not totally surprised, but a little bit surprised that Gloria gave up the information that she did as quickly as she did. Obviously, there was a reveal that she helped Sims and his wife have their child, and that there is a little bit of care there between them. But I was like, for all you being a
Yeah.
flame keeper all this time, you just rolled over.
Yeah, and it's not like what can Sims really give you at this point? Oh, maybe you won't be medicated as much. You just hang out in your room. It still doesn't sound that great, to be honest.
Yeah, no.
Okay, well, we have just a couple of episodes still to go this season. Stuff gonna be hitting the fan.
Yep.
Hope you guys are prepared. Like we said earlier, check out our Patreon, link in the description below for all of our thoughts about season 2, which we're very, very excited about.
Very.
Thank you guys for supporting us over there. Thank you, Miss Fifi Fontaine, for your contribution
Oh,
to
yes.
this video, and we will see you guys here next time.